This is Mark Bruno, Editor-in-Chief of the Cannata Report. It's Friday, which means we are here with Frank. But before we get started, I just want to remind everybody to please subscribe, share, comment. If you have a topic that you'd like us to consider for a future episode, shoot us a note in the comments and we'll definitely consider it. So good morning, Frank. I understand you've got an optimistic message for us today.
That's a good way to look at it. That's a good way to look at it, Mark. Yes, if it is, it's an optimistic bent that I've gone on, and just it's going through our survey, the last year's survey, addressing the concerns of the dealers and just constantly reading the references, the same things that are going on that dealers are, rightfully so, not happy with. It's not a good thing that they're experiencing. But I think they're losing focus somewhat. And what got me going was just looking back on past issues. And I came across something that really just struck home. And that's how we happen to have Frank Mallozzi on. I'm not sure when he's scheduled to be, his taping to be viewed, but I would encourage our audience, if Frank comes on, pay attention to what this man is saying. He said the dealers that are addressing production print right now with KM products, there's no big deal to switch into labeling or to go into labeling. It's the same machine requiring the same service, setup time, and all that. And I said, so this is diversification that really is not a hard thing to do. And he said, absolutely not. And when you pay attention when he's on, he talks a lot more about the other things that are around that don't represent a significant effort to adapt this type of diversity. And basically, I wanted to convey that people that we want to have on are people who are optimistic, upbeat about the things that have happened, will happen, and can happen. One of those other people was Barry Simon from Datamax. And Barry is in his twilight year. He is going to be retiring. And, I asked him, and how did he feel about these dealers who are so down about what's going on? And he just went into a whole thing about saying, all the experiences Datamax has had, where they are today and what they're doing is counter to what we heard or what we read from our survey dealer participants. And there were 415 of them. And the majority of them were very, very pessimistic. But Barry, again, is, he's stepping down and there'll be a new president, and he's very confident they're going to continue to do the things that they've done in the past, and he attributes it to the great stability they have in citing employees that have been with him for 30 plus years. He says, they're not going anywhere. They don't want to retire. Because I'm the one that's retiring. And then I had a great email from Fernandez from Katun. And Kay just said in a very, very intelligent way, it's really not about what you're not doing, it's about what you're not taking advantage of. We also had another person, Jose from KYOCERA. I got to tell you, he is so excited about that Nova line from KYOCERA and what it represents for dealers. There's another, that's a fourth person. Yes, these are difficult times, changing times, and they pose challenges. But these are challenges that dealers have faced for years. They're not new. I think what had happened was there was a cycle where every few years something new would come out and give dealers an opportunity to sell something more expensive and much more in demand, so to speak. And I always cite the facsimile come on as one of the most unbelievable things that I ever saw in this industry. I mean, yeah, and the key to it for me is if you read what these so-called expert analysts of the business community were saying about dealers in facsimile, oh, you would have said these poor dealers, they have no chance. And God knows that was not the case. They were citing that Xerox had a MIF of 600,000 Group 1 machines out there. And everybody knows how slow Group 1 was. And then the Japanese came out initially with a Group 2 and immediately leaped to Group 3 and just paved the way for an explosion. And dealers were having a field day selling maintenance agreements to a product that never broke down. That, of course, is history. Will there be things like that? They're out there. They are out there. I think the difference is you've got to create demand, but you have an opportunity to sell these newer or different products to an existing customer base. You don't have to go out there and find new customers, although that's always a good thing to do and part of what you should be doing anyway. But basically taking the customer list that you have right in your building and saying, we're into this and this is what we're doing and this is what we believe it is going to bring to your business, the benefits that it's going to provide. I think it's as simple as that. When you take out the need to have to go out and sell something for the first time, and you have to build an audience for it, that's not what you want to be doing. But by and large, you're building the business on an existing customer base. And yes, something new will bring new customers. It'll help you in your growth, which most dealers are complaining about the lack of. And I'm hoping that stop listening to these naysayers. I mean, they come on and talk about how dumb we all are, and we're not paying attention, and how could you say that, and just giving us a million reasons why we're so dumb. It's an interesting approach when you want to focus on negativity, because there are a lot of people that feel that way. And I guess that type of presentation has some kind of appeal. Well, good luck. If that's what you believe is what is needed today for you to do, so be it. But what I'm saying is take advantage of the opportunities that are coming your way. And I hope that you pay attention to Frank, to Barry, to Kay, to Jose, and just take into consideration what they're offering and what they're not only in the way of products, but in terms of approach to business. We think in the end, if you did that, you'd be light years ahead of where you are. And that's my story for today, Mark.
Well, thank you, Frank. We always appreciate your perspective, and I think we all could use a little pep talk every now and then. So appreciate it.